for everything that they've done. Well, the caterers have been absolutely superb, really have been. Can I just ask people just to put their hands together and say thank you very much. Wonderful food, wonderful service, everything's been great. I'd also like to thank Jill's parents for today. It's been an absolute cracking day. Thank you very much, very successful. Thank you very much. I'd also like to thank my parents, not just for today, but for always. They have been fantastic. I love them to bits. They would have done anything, and they did everything they could to help out with this. It's very much appreciated. Thank you very much. I would especially like to thank Jill's mum, without whom I wouldn't have had a fantastic wife. And also like to thank my mum. Thanks so much, Mum. Without whom Jill wouldn't have a fantastic husband. So here's a little token of our appreciation to both of you. Thank you. You might be careful with the water, there's water in the bottom of the stairs. Careful, and that's right. They brought the vase with them. I'm sure they should take them out of the thing. No, okay, leave them, that's fine, sorry. That's over. And I'd like to thank Jim, my best man. He has been the best man. Who's going to give you a speech in a minute. And also the other ushers who have done a spectacular job. Troy, thanks. Sticks, thanks very much. Justin, Richie, brilliant, thank you. Scary thing is I've known Richie for about 11 years now. The other guys I've known for 27 years each. So you add it up, there's a lot of years of friendship there. We actually grew up together, we played games together. When we was in primary school we were together. So we go back a long, long way, and it's really, I'm really chuffed that you are all here to share the day with Jill and I. So, the other people I'd like to thank very much are the bridesmaids. But before I come on to that, very, very quickly, I'd like to thank Tabitha and Lolo for going around the floor and picking up all the rubbish. It was really sweet. And then handing it to Jill. All the petals. Thank you. So, okay, got some little presents for the bridesmaids. Jane. Thank you for being bridesmaid on our special day. Thank you very much. There we go. Cheers. Thank you. Nicola. Nicola is also a friend from college days. Yeah, you remember the smoking room, yeah. They were great days. Richie, you remember the smoking room? Yeah, great days. Juggling. I suppose you have to be there, really. Right, okay. Eleanor? Eleanor, would you like to come up and catch a little gift? Okay, thanks so much. Shakira. It's my niece, Shakira. Thanks very much. You did a fantastic job. And finally, little Lolo. Lolo. Here's a big present for you. It's Winnie the Pooh! This is all yours. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Today's been a bit of an experiment, really. We've never been to anybody's wedding where we've never had an evening do to go to. Jill and I really wanted to spend the day with you guys. We didn't want all these. Of course, we had the pomp and circumstance of the wedding, etc., etc. But the most important thing for us was to share the day with you and have the time to walk around and speak to you all individually. I hope we've managed to do that. We've still got a little while to go, but today has been absolutely fantastic for us. We've really enjoyed it, and thank you all very much for being here. Thank you all. My final task, if you would like to raise a glass, please. I'd like to propose a toast to the bridesmaids. The bridesmaids. Thank you very much.
Host and hostess, bride and groom, ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment. Pray silence for Mr. Jim Gleeson.
Yay!
Thanks very much, mate. You're a very talented individual. Well, you've had the gold and silver speech, now you've got the bronze. Known Dave for far too many years. As he said, 27. The frightening thing is, I've known Dave for as long as Jill's dad has known Jill. Which really is quite terrifying when you think about it. But on behalf of Dave and Jill, obviously, sort of thank you all for coming here and helping to make it a very special occasion for them. Personally, I would have liked you to stay at home, as it would have made my job an awful lot easier standing up here. And my wife's warned me that I say far too often when I'm speaking as well, so many apologies for that. Thank Dave on behalf of the bridesmaids for the toast, for your kind words, and also on behalf of the ushers and myself, thank you for allowing us to dress like Laurence Llewelyn Bowen for the day. As you all no doubt know, Dave is a very popular chap with a large number of friends. Don't worry, it's only saying what the rest of you are thinking while you listen to me. Dave asked me to be best man. I was very surprised, honoured and stunned by this because he's so popular. I was fully expecting someone else to be lumbered with the job. I was so stunned I didn't have the sense to say no and said yes. And so here I am. I'm supposed to regale you with many amusing anecdotes about Dave and his life, but if the speech all goes pear-shaped, please remember I'm only as good as the material he gives me. Dave was born in 1967. If he'd made it a year earlier, we would be able to say he was born the same year as England and West Ham won the World Cup. It's true, you all know it anyway. If it had been a year later, we could have said Apollo 8, the first manned orbit of the moon. But no, 1967 for Dave. I did a bit of a trawl, and the best thing I could find is that in 1967 the Dartford Tunnel opened. And they still haven't sorted that out properly, have they, mate? Well, I met Dave at secondary school, which, you know, it doesn't leave a nice feeling. If it had been primary school, I'd have been happy. 27 years primary school doesn't leave me too old. Junior school, I could accept. Secondary school leaves me feeling more than a little old as I stand here talking about 27 years, but at least I'm glad it wasn't university. Now, I lost touch with Dave for a couple of years after we left school and bumped into him again, only for him to tell me about a holiday he had planned for the south of France. This was to be the first of many lads' holidays disappearing off to the south of France in usually reasonably well-functioning Astra GTEs owned by Dave of various descriptions.
White or red?
Yeah, pulled over by the police for being a dodgy vehicle, that sort of stuff. But this was the first trip, the first attempt at a south of France holiday. And I bumped into him, he said, "Oh yeah, we're on holiday, do you want to come?" "Yeah, okay." So, off to the south of France. 15 days, 4 blokes, 1 tent, no clue. When we got down there, I say when we got down there, we very nearly didn't. One of the problems with it being the first trip to the south of France is Dave had never actually driven abroad before. The first time we reach major roads in France, he forgets he's in France and turns the wrong way down a dual carriageway straight onto oncoming traffic. Fortunately, he managed one of the quickest U-turns you have ever seen, flying across the central reservation in the process. There was no damage done other than to nerves and possibly underwear. And the strange thing is, that wasn't the worst experience of the holiday. Organisation wasn't a strong point between 4 lads, all aged sort of early 20s. We'd all arranged to bring 4 cans of food so that when we met up down there, we would have a range of foodstuffs to eat that would keep us going until we could get to a supermarket a few days later. None of us had compared notes, and all had thought we had been terribly clever. And when we got down there, we unpacked the 16 cans. And I clearly remember what they are, but I've noted it down just to make sure I don't make a mistake. We had 1 tin of carrots, 1 tin of peas, 1 tin of potatoes, and 13 tins of hot dog sausages. None of us has been able to eat a single hot dog sausage since that week. Anyway, Dave eventually settled down and bought his flat. He had various considerations when buying the flat, all of which were cast aside when he decided to get one within 200 yards of a pub, a burger bar and a pizza place. Well, you get an idea of the priorities in life at that stage, really, don't you? Well, once he'd settled down, bought the flat, got the mortgage, got responsibilities, he decided on a radical, brave and adventurous course of action. That's the hindsight view. At the time, it was clinically insane. You've got a job that pays you well, you've just taken on a mortgage, so the sensible thing to do is to jack in your job so you've got no means of paying the mortgage and go and become a student for 3 or 4 years. Somehow Dave managed to turn this into a profit-making scheme by tunnelling into the loft roof space of the flat and renting out the 2 rooms in the flat to other people, thus making more money, paying for his study time and covering his mortgage.
And baked beans.
Yeah, and baked beans. Anyway, it resulted in less money, but had other benefits, such as achieving his degree, access to the student bar, and meeting Jill. I first became aware of Jill when I popped round to Dave's flat when she was visiting him. After a short chat, I realised that here was someone witty, intelligent and attractive. Naturally, as a result, I thought, if she's here, she must be lost. I did, however, notice that a desperate attempt had been made to clear away the worst excesses of bachelor living. You know, the sort of thing. Scrape the layers of mould off the bathroom so it doesn't look like you've got a multicoloured pattern on the wall, that sort of thing. Although, how many years did it take you to fix the window in the bathroom, Dave? 6 years for a broken window. The poor lad, I think it was because he was using the yellow pages as lavatory paper. Anyway, it was clear at that stage that Dave still was desperate to make a good impression. Well, despite the state of the flat, despite the dodgy cars, and despite the increasing absence of anything remotely resembling hair on his head,